Welcome to the Real Estate Mentor Show. I'm your host, Toby TV Brown, where I come to you every week, talk about real estate, business, failures, successes, lessons that I've learned, and I try to share with you guys to help you grow, to help you get involved with real estate so that you can be successful, have financial freedom, and most importantly, create generational wealth for yourself and for your family. So as a lot of you know that tune into this show, I'm a big sports fan. I love sports, particularly the NBA. And there's something interesting going on right now that everybody's talking about, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm a big LeBron James fan. I have been since he came into the league. I love LeBron. I think he's the ultimate competitor. He has those intangibles, right, that you just can't teach. His instincts about the game, his ability to do so much on the floor. I mean, a guy has led his team in scoring and assists for 16 straight years. And that's one of the things I think that gets undervalued when people start having these conversations about comparing him and Jordan and Kobe and some of the other greats that have played the game and who's the best player now, who's the best player back. You know, all these conversations take place, but to me, LeBron James is the epitome of success as it relates to being an NBA superstar. And he's my favorite. He's my favorite in the league right now. Now, Jordan is my all-time favorite because I grew up watching Michael Jordan and, you know, having 6 rings and the way that he did it 3 times, back to back to back, took off, came back, did it again, back to back to back. Like, I don't think we'll ever see that again. So to me, Jordan is going to always be the greatest, but LeBron has to be number 2. I mean, I just think once his resume his career is over and his resume is in stone, I think we'll look back and appreciate him more than we do now. So everybody knows this past year, LeBron left Cleveland to go to Los Angeles Lakers. And I was always skeptical about that move for a few reasons. One, obviously, the history that Lakers have. I mean, the championship pedigree and some of the, the best players to ever play the game, playing for that franchise. I couldn't quite piece together how LeBron would fit into that mold, into the history, because, LeBron has always kind of been the center focus, wherever he's went. In Cleveland, obviously, he was the man. That's his city. He's from Akron, Ohio. Like, he is, when you say Cleveland, you say LeBron James right after that. But when you say Los Angeles, like, there's so many superstars and so many athletes that have been successful and played and built their careers there that I just didn't understand where LeBron, even if he goes there and wins 1-2 championships, I still don't think that he's going to be mentioned in the same breath as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Magic Johnson, and probably not even Kobe Bryant, right? And so I just didn't really understand that move. Now, with that being said, I'm sure he had his reasons for going. Maybe it was a business move. Obviously, everybody knows LeBron's doing a lot of stuff off the court with entertainment and all this stuff. So maybe it had more to do with that. Maybe it had more to do with what's in the best interest for his family. I'm sure that a lot of that factored into his making that decision. But purely from a basketball perspective, I just couldn't understand it. Secondly, I've always been concerned about the Lakers ever since Dr. Buss passed away. Like, sometimes it's very difficult to transfer a business onto your kids and have them run that business and maintain the high level of success and reputation that you had when you ran the business or if you started a business. And I've always been worried about that. I mean, we saw evidence of it when Jim Buss, I believe, one of the sons, and the sister Jeannie, they were having issues back even when Kobe was playing towards the last couple of years of his career. There was this bickering going on back and forth. They were pretty much fighting over the team, fighting over leadership, fighting over power and authority. Like, that was a bad sign to me, and I've always been skeptical about the Lakers ever since Dr. Buss passed away. So then Jim is out, Jeanie is in, and you go and you hire Magic Johnson as president of basketball operations, and then you go get Kobe's old agent, Rob Pelinka, and I was just skeptical about that just from day one. Like, man, how is all this gonna work? It's too much of this family stuff going on, right? It's too much of this, let me bring in the person that I know, the person that I'm most comfortable with, the person that knows my family, the person that used to play for the team. Like, it was too much of that going on, and I was just always skeptical of that. So now fast forward, after year one, the Lakers don't make the playoffs. Obviously, LeBron got hurt, and they could have more than likely would have made the playoffs had he not. But he got hurt. They didn't make the playoffs. And then now, most recently, Magic Johnson just gets up and walks out. Just quits at the drop of a dime. Don't tell nobody. He just walk in and just quit. The president of basketball operations just quits. And now there's all these stories about what's going on. Magic said he was getting backstabbed, and people are saying that it was over the coach and who wanted to fire the coach. And now they're saying that Magic and Rob Pelinka, the GM, didn't get along. And Magic's sitting here crying and talking about how Jeanie, his sister, how he loved her so much. And, it's just nothing but chaos. So it's one big soap opera over there now. And I know LeBron James is sitting back like, man, what the hell did I get myself into, right? So to me, it's one of those situations where, and I think this is a great prelude into my show today, is being a person in business, having a business and running a business. One of the things that I've learned is you should shy away from hiring family members and people that you know and your friends in your business, because there's always a different set of values there, and it's always a different agenda, and there's always different motives involved with that than you have in a normal situation where you're just making hiring decisions based on who's best for the organization. And I think the Lakers were a good example of that. Again, you have a family business where there's chaos, and the leadership is bringing in former players and family members and stuff to run the business, creating a situation where they're making people happy instead of doing what's in the best interest of the organization. So the topic of my show today is really about hiring and firing, right? Hiring and firing in a business. So again, when I first started my business, I had to do what I could to run the business. So I didn't have a whole lot of options from a hiring standpoint. So I had to utilize and leverage the help that I could. And I have to admit, early on, I had to kind of sacrifice, and I did hire some people that I knew. I did allow some of my family members to come work in my business. I had two of my older sons worked in the business. I had my brother work in the business. I even had my wife work in the business. Now, while there were some aspects of that were beneficial at the time, looking back, it didn't work out. It did not work out. The situations didn't last very long, and there was a lot of chaos involved with working with family members. It's just different. There's different expectations, and generally family members may come in with the right motive and it may feel good emotionally, but most of the time they struggle with execution. They struggle with the execution part of it. And that's always been difficult. Trying to tell a family member like, hey, I need you. I know you want to do it this way, but I need you to do it this way. And this is my business and I run the show and here's what I need from you, right? Because you have that conversation at work and then you got to go home and look at this person at the dinner table and it's just an uncomfortable vibe. And so I've always tell people now today that just be careful who you hire in your business and try to stay away from family members and friends, because it just creates that extra stress and pressure that you don't need as a business owner. Like, you want to feel comfortable going into your business knowing that the people that are there, they respect you, they're there for the right reasons, and that they're going to be coachable and they're going to buy into the vision that you set forth. And most importantly, they're going to be able to execute. And if they don't execute, you can hold them accountable. And that's another big piece. Sometimes it's tough to hold your family members accountable because, again, it's a tough conversation, right? So I'm here talking about business. This is about business. I need you to do this. Well, all of a sudden now you're having a different conversation about, oh, remember when I did this for you back in the day, or this or that. It has nothing to do with business. So it always goes down this path that has nothing to do with business. So my advice is to stay away from hiring family members and friends in your business. Secondly, one of the most challenging pieces of hiring people is finding those that share your values. Like, as a business owner, it's important for you to, one, you need to lay out your vision, and you need to make sure that you have a core set of values that is visible for everybody to see. People need to know what you stand for. What are your beliefs, right? What are your values? And so finding people that share your values is, again, another key component to hiring people. Now, this applies to whether it's just business in general or real estate. It doesn't matter. If you're an owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're running a business, this is applicable to you. You want to make sure that you hire people that share your values. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how much you can execute. If they don't share your values, there's always going to be that disconnect there. And your DNA, your vision is going to get lost in the sauce, because the individual that is working for you that doesn't share your values is representing you and the company in a way that you don't believe in. And that's always difficult as a business owner. So bringing in people that share your values is important. When you hire, when you sit down and interview and you talk to people, you lay out your values and you ask them, how do they feel about this, and that? If their answers or their values are not in line with yours, then more than likely you should probably skip on hiring that person, because if you don't, then it's going to come back and bite you at some point down the road. Another key piece of hiring people is making sure that you bring in the top talent. And again, I'm speaking from a standpoint of experience, right? I'm not saying that I was making these decisions all the time, because there was a time and a point where I wasn't making the decisions based on this information. I was making decisions based on information I had at the time and what I knew at the time. Well, obviously, as you know better and you learn more, you do better. So over time, I've learned that, you know what, hiring family members and friends is not good for business, right? Bringing in people that don't share my values, my core values, is not good for me and my business, okay? Bringing in people that don't have the knowledge, experience, expertise, that are not smart, that cannot execute, that are not diligent, that don't have attention to detail, that's not going to be good for my business, because now I've had enough experience to where I have data points, I have comparables, I have something compared to. I know what it looks like when I have somebody that's not as talented, that's not as smart, that doesn't execute, versus somebody that's super smart, that executes, that is self-motivated. I have something to compare it to. And by far, I'm here to tell you that if you can, when you're able to, bring in the best talent is the smartest and wisest decision you can make. Even if it requires you to pay a little more, you need to do it. You need to do it, because it's going to save you so much headache down the road. And one of the most expensive endeavors in any business is turnover. You don't want people coming in and out of your business because you're exhausting time, energy, money, and resources into hiring this person just to have them walk out of the door. And now you have to go duplicate that and recreate that and do it all over again. If you sit down and put a pen to paper and calculate how much you're putting into hiring an individual, I think you will be surprised at the amount of money that it's actually costing you when they walk out the door or when the situation doesn't work out. So that's why hiring the right people is of utmost importance. And I think that if you can, again, pay for top talent, like the best qualified individual, even if it's going to cost you a little extra more. If you can do that, you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. So obviously in business, there's going to be a lot of times where employee relationships don't work out for various different reasons. And as a business owner, you have to make a decision to terminate someone. So you need to make sure that you're doing that in the right time. This is another mistake that I used to make a few years back, where I knew that there was something uncomfortable or something not right about a particular employee. They weren't doing, whether they're not doing their job, or they're not fit for the culture, or they don't have the values, or they're not displaying certain characteristics that we require here in my company. I would let them hang around a little bit, because I needed them at the time. I needed someone to do the job, even though they may not have been doing the job up to par. I needed them, so I let them stay around too long. So what happens when you let people stay around too long, they start to, again, affect your culture, right? They start to become toxic, and you're allowing them to set the standard for the quality of work that you would allow. So it's not about necessarily everything that they're doing, it's what other people are seeing them do. So you may have a top performer in your business, but they're sitting back watching this person that's underperforming, and they're watching you allowing the other person that's underperforming to stay around. Then you take away the motivation from the top performer. So that's a reflection of you as a business owner. So you have to be prepared to take action early when it comes to firing. Now, most of the time, I always say that I've never fired anybody, ever, because people fire themselves. They put themselves in position to be fired, right? And so now me as a business owner, you put me in a position where I have to make a decision. And obviously, I have to make a decision that's in the best interest of the business, right? So I didn't just fire you. You fired yourself, right? But as a business owner, you have to be prepared to make those decisions. You have to be prepared to make those decisions. There's a lot of different reasons why to make a quick decision. There's certain things that you should not tolerate as a business owner. Again, somebody that's being toxic, somebody that's cancerous to your environment and your culture, somebody that does not represent your values well. Obviously, theft. Stealing, oh, that's a big no-no. And that's immediately, if someone is stealing from you, you have to terminate them immediately. There's no sit down, there's no explanation, there's no conversation about it. Like, that's a non-negotiable, right? Because if someone is stealing from you, that's like the ultimate disrespect as a business owner. That means that they don't respect your hard work, your dedication, the sacrifice that you've made to create a business, to put them in position to have a job, to be able to take care of themselves and feed their families, right? They're basically disrespecting that at the highest level by stealing from you. And you cannot allow theft in your business. And in real estate, it applies across the board, right? I've had property managers steal from me. Leasing agents, I've had them steal rent money. I had them they'll take money from the tenants, and they keep it, and they wouldn't report it. They wouldn't turn it over to the company. I've had contractors, maintenance technicians steal materials. They go to the store, Home Depot, Lowe's, they buy the materials on my account. They take it back, get a credit, pocket the money, or they go buy materials and tools on my account, keep them for themselves so they can do side jobs. I've even had an accountant steal from me. Yes, I had an accountant steal from me, right? And so sometimes you think of it like, man, that's embarrassing. Like, it's a reflection of me. Like, no, it's not a reflection of me. I don't look at it that way. Like, I'd rather be the person getting stolen from than the person that has to steal. You see what I'm saying? It's a big difference there. So when you have a business, and especially if you're growing, like, you can't have your eyes on everything. Like, there's going to be gaps. There's going to be holes where people can kind of creep in and steal from you. And it's going to happen. I promise you. It may be happening right now as you sit here today if you're a business owner and you just don't know it yet. It'll come out at some point, but I promise you it's going to happen. And so that's why it's important to be diligent with who you allow to come into your business. You have to vet the people that you hire. Again, making sure that they fit into your value system, your culture, right? Make sure that they display the same characteristics that you display. That's very important because people will come in with motives and they will take advantage of a situation, especially if they're in a desperate situation, because you never know what's going on in someone's personal life, right? We all have issues and troubles in our personal lives. But for some people, they're not able to manage that in a way that still allows them to maintain their integrity. Sometimes they'll sacrifice their integrity just to get whatever it is they want at that time, up to and including stealing from their employer. So that does happen. But if you have someone in your company, in your organization, in your business that you've caught stealing, it's important for you to make sure that you terminate them immediately. So what are the key points from this podcast today? I'm talking about the people within your business, right? In your organization, in your real estate investment business. Who are the people that you allow in? Okay. Try to stay away from family members and friends, guys. I know it's hard. But try to stay away from family members and friends. You may not feel now that it's an issue, but I promise you, as you grow and your business matures and you're able to scale your business on a massive level, it's going to become a problem. It's a very, very, very low percentage of situations, family businesses that actually work out. So stay away from family and friends when hiring and bringing them to your organization. Make sure that the people you hire support and share your value system, the core values that you have at your company and your organization. Make sure that you recruit and hire top talent as best as you can. If you have to pay for it, you have to pay more, do it. I promise you, you will not regret that. Do not allow people to stick around longer than they should. If they're stealing from you, if they're being toxic in your organization, if they're going against your value system, if they don't support you as an owner and your vision, if they don't represent your company well, then you need to terminate them. And I think, honestly, a lot of this is applicable in life in a lot of ways too. And this is the reason why a lot of people can't get ahead, because they allow toxic people to hang around too long. So don't allow them to hang around in your business, and don't allow them to hang around in your personal life either, okay? So Toby, TB, guys, I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to provide you with knowledge and value as you continue to grow your real estate business. These are key components, guys. The people that you have and that you allow in and out is going to be a big factor in whether you're going to be successful in business and whether you're going to be successful in real estate. So evaluate the people around you in your personal life. Evaluate the people that you currently have in your business right now, and make those tough decisions about who you keep around and who you let go. All right. So again, my goal is to help you guys create generational wealth through investing in real estate. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate Investor Mentor Show. I'm your host, Toby T. Brown. I'll see you guys next week.